The lines have been drawn across the sand in the Democratic Party. We have two visions and we have two groups. We have the vision of the past and we have the vision for the future. In the 2016 election, the vision of the past prevailed. We saw shameless corruption inside of the Democratic Party, rigging debates, rigging the voting process, rigging the media coverage of the election, rigging the Democratic primary for Hillary Clinton and the corporate Democrats. They got their last hurrah as a political clan, celebrating, frolicking in their shameless pool of corporate money and corruption. They advanced onto the general elections, and they were soundly defeated by a wave of faux populism. It was yet another rejection of the normal and a rejection of the corporate establishment. You see, it was no longer possible to take 85 million from the pockets of the big banks and 12 million from the pockets of big pharma and millions from a long list of other corporate interests and expect it to go over cleanly with the American people. It was no longer possible to lie to the faces of the people, saying that you support tougher trade policies and regulating Wall Street, and then tell the execs of a criminal organization, Goldman Sachs, that there's a quote-unquote bias against the wealthy here in America, that we should have quote-unquote open trade and open borders, where you voice support for cuts to Social Security. And you even say that politicians should have public and private positions. The American people rejected the lies, they rejected the shameless corruption, and many voted for what they thought was a shakeup of the corrupt system. And of course, Trump turned around and slapped them in the face. Much of his cabinet comes straight from the top of the corporate world. The budget he's proposed will gut key programs keeping Americans afloat, the same people he promised to protect. But that's another video for a day soon to come. Now, millions across the country, they spoke loudly and clearly in the 2016 presidential elections. We will no longer support this band of corporate Democrats. That's what many across the country said. And this ridiculous strategy of taking millions of dollars from the pockets of the corporations and then turning around and feeding people BS about how you're fighting for their interests and how you're fighting the good fight for progressive issues. It's stupid. It's no longer a viable strategy for winning national elections. Even after their massive flop in the 2016 elections, where Republicans tied a record number for control of Congress, the presidency, and governorships across the nation, we still have these corporate Democrats clinching for dear life to this absurd, unwinnable vision of the past. Take a guy like Joe Manchin, the quote-unquote Democratic senator out of West Virginia. This is a guy who's taken $700,000 from the coal mining industry over his career and $300,000 from both Big Pharma and the oil and the gas industry. This is a Democrat. And we wonder why he sides with Trump on leaving the Paris climate change accords, why he voted for the vast majority of Trump's corporate cabinet, why he has allowed the water supply and West Virginia's ecosystem to be destroyed due to these coal companies that he's sold out to. He's a goddamn sellout, man. He's turned his back on the people he claims to represent. Take a guy like Cory Booker, quote-unquote Democratic senator out of New Jersey. This guy has taken over $2 million from the banks, and nearly $300,000 from the insurance companies, and nearly $400,000 from Big Pharma. $400K from Big Pharma. Maybe that's why Cory decided to vote against allowing people to buy 2, 3, even 4 times cheaper prescription drugs from the Canadian markets. Cory joined dozens of Republicans and 12 other Democrats by standing against cheaper prescription drug prices at a time where 29 million Americans are uninsured and health costs are the leading cause of bankruptcy. What a guy, man. What a guy. Way to stand by the people you are claiming to represent by taking more money out of their pockets to pay for prescription drugs that many times saves these people's lives. The list goes on and on and on of these sleazy, lying corporate Democrats whose philosophy has lost an election after goddamn election. They're out of touch. They're shameless liars. and they are beholden to corporate interest after corporate interest. But what makes them 10 times more dangerous is that they claim to be progressive. They put on this mask of standing by the people and breaking down the barriers of opportunity. They lie. They spew lie after lie into the faces of the American people. I'll fight for health care. I'll fight for better trade policies. I'll regulate Wall Street. I'll take on Big Pharma. And large chunks of our base fall for it. The Clintons of the world cheat and lie and rig their way to the nomination, and we get our asses handed to us on a gleaming red platter. These clowns, they're dead weight. They're dead weight. They are blind to what's happening right before our very eyes. The people are starting to wake up. Bernie Sanders, the same man you decided to steal the fucking nomination from, he's the most popular politician in the United States. But even beyond the individuals of the situation, let's talk about the policies, the substance, the actual issues facing the American people. On the issues, the American people agree overwhelmingly with us. The American people overwhelmingly support progressive policies. 62% of Americans support tuition-free public colleges and universities. 62%. A majority of the country, just over 50% of the American public, support creating a single-payer Medicare for all healthcare system. This is what many conservatives will have you believe is quote-unquote socialism. That's funny. Apparently over half of the country identify as socialists. 58% of Americans support breaking up the big banks. 79% of Americans support allowing the government to negotiate for cheaper drug prices. The list goes on and on and on. This, quite frankly, is now a country of progressives. They clearly support our policies. One of the faces for our movement is the most popular active politician in the nation. So how on God's green earth do you think you will win elections by not fully embracing these policies? The policies the people who are voting for you will overwhelmingly support. That doesn't matter though. See, they don't get paid millions by the American public. They get paid millions by the insurance companies, the titans on Wall Street, mining companies, the pharmaceutical companies, you name the industry, someone up in the Democratic establishment is probably pocketing their money. Their head is so far up their million-dollar corporate ass that they can't see what's happening right in front of them. The largest state in the country just approved a single-payer healthcare system. The people are overwhelmingly voicing support for our policies. The face of our movement is the most popular politician in the freaking country. And while Trump is the most unpopular president in the history of polling, the Democratic Party in some polls is even more unpopular. This is the president who said, grab him by the pussy, who produced a budget scrapping program after program contributing to the lives of millions of Americans. This is the president who has proven time after time to be perhaps the most incompetent we've seen. And the American people hate you more. Your boss hates you more than Donald goddamn Trump. It's time to drop these fools, man. They're dead weight. Bernie and a majority of Senate Democrats just the other day introduced legislation for a $15 minimum wage. This is something that millions of people across the country have been protesting for years. And 17 of these so-called Democrats decided to not sign on to the legislation, including West Virginia's own Joe Manchin. Get them out, man. They are the vision of the past. They are holding us back from reaching our true potential as a party. And this isn't just about partisanship and winning a damn election. This is about truly creating change in this country, creating millions of jobs through clean energy jobs and a Green New Deal, giving the 29 million people in this country now uninsured secure access to healthcare, giving an entire generation of students like me, no matter their race, color, gender, or class, access to higher education. Real change. So you know what, man? Today I signed up for Justice Democrats. And if you have somehow not heard of this organization, it was created by Cenk Uygur over at the Young Turks, Kyle Kalinske over at Secular Talk. Those are both YouTube channels. And along with some of the leadership for Bernie's campaign. Their slogan is Democrats for the people, not corporations. What they are trying to do is get rid of these types of politicians that I've been describing in these videos. Corporate Democrats, right? And we get real progressives in there who are funded not only by small donations from people like us. One of their candidates is a woman named Paul Swearingen out of West Virginia. This is a mother who has witnessed firsthand the harmful effects of the coal companies there in West Virginia. She supports universal pre-K, a Medicare for all system, tuition-free college, and above all, protecting and preserving the environment, simultaneously bringing millions of clean energy jobs to West Virginia and the rest of the country. Paula is now running for the U.S. Senate in West Virginia on the Democratic ticket. But no, not just yet, because guess who she's primarying? Notorious corporate Democrat, Joe Manchin. And you want to know who's funding her campaign? Small donations from people like us, and $0 from the pockets of the huge corporations. These are Justice Democrats. These are the candidates that we need to be supporting. Real people who are bought and paid for by the rest of their constituents. That's democracy. But these candidates, they need your help, okay? Go to justicedemocrats.com and join this movement. You can donate towards your organization and help fund the campaigns of Paula and the rest of the Justice Democrats. Or you can even nominate another Justice Democrat. If you want to fight these corrupt sellouts in Washington, if you want democracy, if you want your voice to finally be heard, go to justicedemocrats.com. This is how we fight back. So I'm going to stop talking now. You go ahead and give this video a like, you subscribe, and you go to justicedemocrats.com. In that order. You got that? Great. Until next time, it's been your boy.